This show contains views and opinions that may not be suitable for certain audiences. Listener discretion is strongly advised. A friendly reminder, Mary Jane edibles are not a substitute for actually paying your Lyft driver. Don't forget to tip your bartenders, you filthy fucking animals. And if you've got kinks, we've got links. Don't forget to subscribe, put on your seatbelt, and enjoy the ride.
Howdy, 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 everybody, and welcome to Thespian Talk. I am your host, Gomer the Ranting Thespian. With me this week is Michelle.
Hello.
And Scolipendra.
Hoi.
So yeah, a lot has happened since the last episode. Little over a week since our last recording, because just things and stuff and but you know, things like Guess you got the COVID. And if you can tell by my sing-song voice, no, it wasn't me. It wasn't either of my co-hosts, as far as I know.
Nope.
It wasn't Becky. Wasn't any of our friends or loved ones, as far as we know.
As far as we're aware. Yep.
But nope. Trump got the COVID. because COVID's like, nah, you've had enough. Fuck you. Now, the thing is, as of this recording, he's still trying to maintain. He is a lot more deranged than what he normally is, which is saying something. But the fact is, he went into the hospital. He actually had to go to the hospital for a few days. And here's where all the bitterness can come out. And I allow it to come out. You can even put it in the comment section. How bitter most people listening to this would feel. Because if one of us got COVID, well, Michelle maybe not so much here because she's over in the UK and their healthcare is miles better than ours. but for me and Scully, if one of us got the COVID and needed to go to the hospital, whoever would need to pay for that bill, whether we pay it out of pocket or we have somebody able to help and support us in that endeavor, they could be very well bankrupt by it. And that's not much of an exaggeration. So
sickening.
It is very much so. But yet Trump and people like Trump can go and get all of the medical help. In fact, he even got, what was it? He got some some of the best doctors available, some of this experimental shit, which apparently is doing work on his brain. He's coming down from heavy steroids from what I'm hearing. But he can do all that, and he doesn't have to pay a goddamn dime. We pay for it. We as in the American taxpayer pays for it. Which, yeah, fuck you, Trump. Are on our dime, and we say you should die. You should die from the COVID. Go ahead, do it. Yeah, and hey, FBI, NSA, I don't care who you are, he needs to die. Just you know, he is not protecting the American people. So why should the American people protect him? You know?
Counterpoint, and this isn't my counterpoint, it's Jimmy Snow's. He should, and this is before he came out, tweet what he tweeted, we'll get to that in a second. But he should get it just enough to maybe actually start taking it fucking seriously. But if he dies pre-election, that could rile up some people you don't want riled up.
True, but it's one of those prickly situations where it's like, Trump is an obvious evil. You know, he has done nothing good for the American people as a whole. That is the lower 97 to 99% of us. You know. Yep. And so removing him and removing Pence, because Pence has got to go too, would remove at least part of the problem. You would not have somebody up on the highest, the most powerful platforms in the country basically telling the fucking Proud Boys to stand back and stand down. Did we forget that? I sure didn't.
Nope.
So we won't have that at the very least. It will be a band-aid to help deal with a much larger problem, but it is a step in the right direction to get those two out of office. And I know some people are like, "What are you saying? They should die." Yeah. Because at this point, there's no redeeming them. There's just is not. They are irredeemable. So, If you are not redeemable and you are that much of a bastard to the population as a whole, whether it be your country, whether it be the entire planet, in their case it's the entire planet, then they need to be taken out. It's just all there is to it. And I could probably get away with saying it on here more often because I don't have as big a platform.
Yeah.
Whether I am correct or not, my platform is not as big. So, but even if I did have a platform as big, I probably would say something similar. Because that's just, it's very, very rare that I truly do wish death upon somebody. And it's kind of my Godzilla threshold, I guess is what you could call it. Because even with W in office, and granted, even when he was in office, I didn't have as much of a grasp on everything. I didn't think W should be killed off. And I still don't,
No.
But because at the very least, W might, big might, be redeemable at some point. He might. He may not. I don't know. But with Trump and Pence, based on the actions they have taken over even just the last 4 years, let alone their history, they're irredeemable. So, no redemption arc for you. You die, get tossed in the ground, and we all piss and shit on it. And maybe fuck on it. I don't know.
No, the thing I was going to say regarding the tweet is that he has since said, "Oh, I'm fine now. COVID's nothing to be scared of. I've got the best doctors, the best medication." And I'm like, "Oh, fuck off." It's like the opposite of what Jimmy wanted.
Yeah.
But
well, let me.
It's kind of a secondary. Sorry.
Yeah. Well, see, Trump says that because it's basically like you're playing Super Mario Brothers with your friend. Your friend has the game Genie code, and you're sitting here struggling in, let's say, 5-3, and your friend is going through and breezing through without so much as breaking a sweat because they have that goddamn game Genie on.
Well, one of the first responses that I saw to that tweet was a doctor saying, "Yeah, because you're still high as balls on the medication you're taking. That's why you feel good."
Yeah, there is also that.
But just as a secondary thought I had regarding tweets in general, is it just me, or has there been less of a call for an edit button on Twitter since Trump got into office and started tweeting his madness?
I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it more or less, honestly.
Because I'm like, are people now like, let's not have an edit button and let's just screen cap the shit out of this lot?
Yep.
Yeah.
Just a shower thought.
Yeah.
Just a shower thought.
Indeed. And so Pence got brought up. We had the vice presidential debate the night before we recorded this. And oh boy. First of all, even before the debate, Penny Boy there was protesting the use of the plexiglass barriers. So he and Kamala Harris couldn't accidentally COVID each other. And now we don't know if Kamala has COVID. We suspect Pence might. As Mel had pointed out, he's got the eye that's looks like it's probably one of the symptoms. So it's very much possible that Pence has it. I hope so, and I hope he dies from it. Because fuck Pence. Yeah. Another thing we should not forget about Mike Pence. Let's see. He was a governor of some state, wasn't he? Where there was an AIDS outbreak on his watch because of his actions. Wait! It was Indiana.
Yep.
Yeah. So fuck Pence. He and Trump can be buried in the same hole for all I care. Hole. But I do have some highlights set up for the debates last night. I didn't watch it live. I was honestly too busy playing Super Mario 35. But which I do pretty well. I consistently get to top 10 a lot. But and anyway, there are some highlights as put out by McLatchydC.com. I guess I'm pronouncing it right. And I'm just gonna go through the highlights, not go through the whole article. One of the highlights reads: Pence holds his own on the pandemic, but took some hits. as head of the White House Coronavirus Task Force, Pence knew what he was entering Wednesday's debate vulnerable to attacks and to sharp questions from the moderator on the administration's widely criticized pandemic response. What response? Tell me, what? Oh, just go back to work and deal with it? Deal with the COVID? Some people have to die just so I can make more money? That response? Okay. That I guess you could call it a response. He prepared, noting that half of all jobs lost since the outbreak began in February have now returned. Really? Have they? Have they really? Defending the nation's devastating death toll by claiming that millions more could have died if not for the president's policies. See, here's the thing. If Trump's policies had been better, then we would not have had the over 200,000 deaths that we've had as of this recording. If they had been better. Responding to
something
Harris's...
about... Sorry. There's a statistic about something about you having like 20% of the deaths but only 5% of the population or something like that. The numbers could be off, but like proportionally your death count is too high for your population.
It is.
Uh-huh.
Like I don't even care about the numbers. It is too high.
Yep.
You know, and it's for something like this, you do expect some deaths early on because, hey, we don't know what the fuck's going on. We got to research this shit. But as it gets further, and as people have had more time to look at it and prepare for it and know how to, at the very least, limit it, the death toll should be lower, much lower than what it is. Let's see. Responding to Harris's assertion that the Trump administration failed in its response, Pence had a response ready. That's a great disservice to the sacrifices the American people have made. Yeah. Ones that we did not ask to make. Ones that we did not offer to make, Pence. We didn't offer to watch our relatives die alone in hospital beds because their children or grandchildren couldn't come to see them and give them a comfortable, just a comfortable death. They could not die surrounded by their loved ones and thus died alone with strangers. Very, very few people deserve that.
No.
But Harris repeatedly hammered the Trump administration for supporting a case before the Supreme Court next month that could strike down the Affordable Care Act, literally in the midst of a public health pandemic. Yeah. And oh yeah, one of those little confirmation parties or whatever it was to push what her fuck's name is, into the Supreme Court. She who wants to take away the right to gay marriage, the right to women, female autonomy, bodily autonomy.
Barrett, something Barrett.
Yeah, I don't give a shit what her name is right now. But yeah, Barrett. Hardest blows inflicted on Pence's coronavirus record came not from Harris, but from the moderator Susan Page. She asked Pence to explain why the U.S. has the highest death rate of the world's wealthy nations. He didn't answer. Because he knows why. He doesn't want to say the quiet part out loud, and that is, he doesn't give a shit about you, regular voter. He doesn't care, neither does Trump. They only care that you work the machines well enough to make them and their Wall Street criminal friends and that fucking Jeff Bezos more money. That's all they care about. They do not care about your well-being. They literally do not. And if they say they do, they are lying, because the actions speak louder than the words.
Yep.
She then asked him what kind of example the White House had set for the American people by hosting an event for Trump's Supreme Court nominee, I just mentioned that, and no social distancing, and no one wore masks. Been linked to an outbreak of coronavirus among senior administration officials and lawmakers. That's why you're seeing a lot more Republican lawmakers suddenly coming down with a case of the COVID. It's because of things like this. Why aren't Democrats? Because the Democrats are actually being smart about it. And Pence claimed that the event was entirely outdoors. No, it wasn't. Let's see. Another one is a temporary return to normalcy. They basically, conducted their debate within the normal confines of political warfare. While Democrats complained that the moderator allowed Pence to interrupt Harris too often, frequently deflected her questions, and the crosstalk and brief interrogations, nothing out of the ordinary. Yeah, because it's a white man thinking that he can tell a brown woman when she can talk, and she's just like, hey. Stop that shit. That you got to give it to Kamala Harris though. She's like, Pence starts interrupting. She's like, "Excuse me, I am talking." Which I put it out ruder than she ever did, but Pence did, however, frustrate Page enough. At one point, she called him out. "I'm sorry, Mr. Vice President, you've had more time than she'd had. I did not create the rules for tonight." Both chose to blow past substantive questions, retreating to pre-produced attack lines, accompanied by grimaces on their faces to express disapproval while listening to their rival. All these are trademarks of conventional politicians' high-stakes debates throughout history. Let's see. I do want to note one thing that I did hear from the debates that Harris pointed out, that she and Biden were, pro-fracking. And if you don't know what fracking is, note that it's not a euphemism for fucking. But what fracking is basically it's the way they, if I understand it right, it's the way they get oil out of the ground. They put some high pressure water into the ground and just blow it up that way and fracture the thing so it's easier to drill for the oil. If I've got it right, it may or may not be oil. It might be another source, but still, it's turned out to be really bad for the environment and bad for the water supplies that the water inevitably will get into. Hi, West Virginia. We know what's happened to you guys. Let's see. Pence claimed that Trump had a plan to protect pre-existing conditions that were installed as part of Obamacare. Never got to explain what it was, and when he was pressed, he said he instead chose to tout himself as unapologetically anti-abortion. We knew this. We knew this, Pence. We know this. You think women, if they get pregnant by whatever means, then they should have to just carry the fetus to term, no matter how it got there. For Harris, it was the thorny question of whether President Biden would push to add Supreme Court justices to the bench, or even out a conservative majority. Biden repeatedly declined to answer the question, remarkably acknowledging it would knock him off his preferred message. You know what? I think if we're going to uneven out the Supreme Court, then uneven it in a way that will not take us back, in a way that will not cause people to become emboldened to go and attack, gay people for being gay, or black people for being black, or women because they got an abortion. Just recently, the anniversary of the death of Matthew Shepard rolled around. And, that's... I'm reminded... That is what a lot of these conservatives want to see. That's what they want to do. I'm willing to bet. For those who don't know, Matthew Shepard was a gay man in Wyoming. He was basically led out to a field and was beaten and left to die.
Fuck.
Yeah. I believe the play is called The Laramie Project. Was based on those events. So, and it was because of all of that is how we got to know the vultures and the ghouls over at the Westboro Baptist Church.
Ugh.
Yeah. What was his name? Fred Phelps? I think he's dead. And if he is, may he rot in whatever hell he believes in.
Yep.
Yep. It just means it just ruins it for the cool Phelps. It's like I'm James and Oliver.
Yeah, it does.
Yep.
And of course, with the Supreme Court justices thing, Harris stuck to Biden's messaging, and Pence interrupted her before she could even deflect herself, and he claims that they're going to pack the Supreme Court if they somehow win this election. Hey, asshole! That's what you guys are doing. That's literally what Trump is doing. He's had two. He possibly could have a third one because Mitch McConnell loves to metaphorically suck the fascist cock. Metaphorically speaking.
I saw a thing, I can't remember exactly which video it was. I think it might be CP Gray. It's basically saying that, constitutionally speaking, there isn't actually a written limit. Thou must have only 9 Supreme Court justices. So, technically, you could vote to put more people in there.
Yeah. But even then, we know what he means. He means that, they're going to pack it with people who who won't kowtow to our Christian values. It's like, fuck your Christian values. If you're using your Christian values to hurt people, fuck them. They're the kind of values that we do not need in our leadership. We just don't.
And they're not real Christian values if that's what they think.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, that's true.
Yeah.
Also, doesn't the First Amendment prohibit that, from happening?
They don't care. The First
Amendment.
Amendment.
They don't.
The First Amendment also ensures that you have, the right to peacefully assemble. Hi, Portland. Let's see what the Portland Police Bureau thinks about your First Amendment rights. Oh wait, they're tear gassing everybody.
Yeah.
They only care about the Second Amendment.
Yeah, because guess
Maybe
what?
the Fifth.
Yeah, and of course the Second Amendment only in terms of white people. Have you noticed that?
Yep.
Because when it's a black person exercising their Second Amendment rights, they're charged with things like terrorism and things like that there. But white person, no. Generally speaking, there are exceptions, but not.
I'm gonna pop something in the green room for carry on. I'm just
Yeah.
gonna pop something in the green room. Something I posted in politics.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Oh boy. So let's see. To go on to there, Pence appeals to a fractured base of faith voters. Faced with diminishing support among white evangelical and Catholic voters in the critical battleground states, Pence repeatedly highlighted his faith and the Trump administration's record on priorities of the religious right. Yeah, you know what those priorities are? To make it a Christian theocracy, to where everybody who is not a Christian can get ground under the heel of everybody who is Christian, and they have no legal means of retort. And bear in mind, when you push people to the corner too much, too far, and too hard, they will fight back. That's what these protests are. These are people fighting back. They may not be violent about it, for the most part, but they're fighting back. And when you and no, to protecting yourself from people who are trying to cause you harm does not make you a terrorist.
Nope.
Because I'm now thinking, oh wait, they tried to take shields away from protesters in Portland when they got the idea, hey, we're going to have shields too. And it's like, no, motherfuckers, you leave those shields alone. Motherfuckers being the pigs, not the protesters. Just to be clear,
Yep.
they deserve their shields, because for peacefully protesting, I don't care how much they piss you off. I don't care how much they interrupt your 75-year-old great-grandmother's late-night show watching or what have you. They're not harming anybody. Piss off. So, and the point of protests, I've probably said it before, I'm going to say it again, and I will probably say it again in the future. The point of a protest is that it is inconvenient for people in power to get attention, and it's not a game of target practice. Do you hear that, DeSantis? Because DeSantis has put through legislation, I know I've mentioned it before, where, long story short, would make it legal for somebody to plow through protesters.
Oh, yeah, that one. You have mentioned it before.
Yeah. So, yeah. No, they are not for the little man. They are not for the minorities. They're not for anybody except their own greed and power. And they are using the racists and the bigots in this country to get there. Never mind the fact that once the bigots and the racists in this country have done their job, they will be tossed under the bus just as quickly as everybody else.
Yeah.
But they don't care, because all they think about is, oh, we get to shoot some black people now. Hey, 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 hey. I use that inflection, but obviously they don't all sound like that.
No.
I know he had his problems, and some people had problems with him, especially later in his career in life, but Michael Jackson was right. They don't really care about us.
Yeah.
Nope.
Also, that song's a banger. I don't care what anyone else says.
Yeah.
It is.
Oh, just and of course, talking about the Supreme Court nominee Amy Coney Barrett. There we go. Pence is like, well, we don't want to see the sort of attacks on our Christian faith that we saw before. And he was referencing a fight over Barrett's previous writings on balancing her Catholic faith with her jurisprudence. Okay, let me tell you something, Pence. All right, listen, sit down, listen, don't speak, or I will put duct tape over your mouth and tie your hands behind your back. And if you keep trying to do it, we'll cut out your vocal cords. But here's...
Sorry, I have to do it. I have to do it. Duct tape, woo!
But
continue.
but here's the thing, that it comes to your Christian faith. We've said it before, and we're going to reiterate again. If anybody is attacking her, it's not because of her faith in and of itself. We don't care whether you're Christian, whether you're Catholic, whether you're Satanist, whatever. We literally do not care. What we do care about is what you use your faith to justify, what actions you use your faith to justify. For example, if you use your faith to justify shooting an abortion doctor, that is a bad justification for your faith. It's not your faith. If that is not us attacking your faith. That is attacking you and justifying your faith to do something extremely heinous.
While saying you're pro-life.
Yeah. Just...
Because that's some serious cognitive dissonance there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pro-life, so I'm going to shoot this doctor.
Yeah, that's not pro-life. That's pro-birth, and you're anti-woman. Call it what Carlin called it. Carlin called it anti-woman. Let's call it what it is.
Yep.
And yes, I know there are men who have uteruses and can get pregnant. We know this. You know,
yes.
they are under the umbrella as well.
That's a whole other kettle, though.
Yeah.
That's a whole other kettle.
But yeah, just
I support all our I support all our trans folk out there.
Yes.
But that's a whole other kettle.
Yeah. Oh lordy. So with all of that out of the way, holy shit, I kind of just went right into it without even asking how everybody's week went.
We noticed. We let you carry on.
Yeah. Oh, so Scully, we kind of been kind of railroading over, giving you chances to really speak. So how's your week been, man?
Oh, it's been all right. Just just exercising and stuff.
Yeah.
Basically, that's it, and also hanging out on Discord.
Yeah.
It's been pretty all right.
That's good.
Cool.
That's good. How about you, Michelle?
Just getting on with it. I've did the training to do my holiday cover for the next 3 weeks, and banks are big.
Yeah.
It's not just the bit at the front and the bit at the back, and then you think a couple of offices, staff toilets. Yeah. Then there's more offices, and there's up and downstairs, and it's one of them is 3 hours, one of them is 2 hours, so plus another hour each at the weekend. So it's gonna be an extra 27 hours. I've already done the maths. I'm gonna be making serious bank.
Nice.
Yeah.
But that's before tax, though. But yeah, the only problem is it has to be outside office hours, obviously, because I can't be doing it whilst the staff are in.
Yeah.
Which means I'm going to have to start getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning again to do one in the morning. So plan is to do the 3 hour in the morning, hopefully before everyone arrives, and the 2 hours in the afternoon, because of the current pandemic.
Right.
The banks are shutting early, so 3:30. So I'm going to do one before my other job in the afternoon. Then I should be able to do them as a run-on. But yeah, it's going to be fun. I'm not looking forward to early mornings again.
Oh, no.
And I think after I've done those 3 weeks, I've got another week or maybe 2 of covering somebody else. But that's a job I already know how to do. And that's, again, it's 3 hours in the morning, but because it's a restaurant, it opens a bit later, so...
Yeah.
I'm beholden to when they open. So, yeah. Not looking forward to that. So, by the end of it, I might be really cranky, possibly very tired. Who knows? So, look forward to that, guys. Look forward to that, listeners.
There you go. So, And as for me, we've had to delay because things just not working well on my end for some of it, but for the rest of us, kind of could be better. I really do want to get the hell out of here, get somewhere better. But it takes money, and in order to get money, we do things like this. Is he wanting people to support him on Patreon? Yes, he is. I keep forgetting to mention that I do have a Ko-fi now. That should be in the link tree by the time this goes up. So if you check that and you want to do just a one-off thing or whatever, that's where that is. I do have a goal on there. If we reach that goal on the Ko-fi, or even if we reach the same amount, I haven't updated the Patreon for it. But if we reach that same goal on either Patreon or Ko-fi, or both, hey, if we reach it on both, that'd be great. But then I'll be able to do things, first and foremost, move to a place that will give me a bit more space to work with. Like this office space that I'm using, I'm glad I have it, but it's still a little bit cramped based on what I want to do. And I could use a little bit more space. Plus, just having a place of my own would be pretty good. And that's where the thing is, or that's why it's as high as it is. I think it's at 5,000 over on the Ko-fi. That would take care of rent and utilities for several months at the very least. So, but if it's recurring through Patreon, then as long as everybody stays there, then no problem. But and I think you can also do a recurring on Ko-fi as well if you guys really, really want to. But it doesn't have to be one. It can be one way or the other. But yeah, I also want to note that while this was going on, Becky texted me. She's doing a large animal class this semester. With cows and shit. And she thinks she just saw some cow sex. All right. I mean, I could probably go down the road and see that, but it's still a funny thing to see.
Yeah, I saw pigeon sex once. That was quite funny.
Yeah.
I was looking at his pigeons, are they kissing? And they were their beaks were crossed. There was some tongue action, and then one jumped on top of the other. All right then, that's the thing I just watched.
Yep. There you go. So all right. So in an effort to try and manage the time of the show a little bit more, I've noticed they've been running a little longer. I want to try and shorten them up a little bit. We're going to go ahead and take our break here. Then when we come back, we'll have the meme topics, and I do have a couple of news stories for the week that are definitely lighter than what the meme topics are going to be. Oh dear, we're going to get into some things. Oh god. So
I know there's a couple I pointed you to. So
yeah. Stick around. We shall be back. Hey folks, we'll get back to the show in a moment, but first I want to tell you about Patreon. Patreon is what I use to get around all of the YouTube adpocalypse bullshit, and while I don't have a lot right now, every little bit does help. And if you like what you hear or what you see on any of my videos or podcasts, head on over there. For as little as $1 a month, you can get all of these things early before anybody else does, and you can get them completely ad-free. Yeah, I know YouTube right now is technically ad-free, but at some point, I'm probably going to get big enough to where ads will start coming in, and those can be annoying, so you want to avoid that, right? If you go ahead and go now over to patreon.com/Gomer21XX, leave $1, $5, doesn't matter how much, you can get all of these. Again, you can get them early, and you get them without ads, even when I reach the point on YouTube to where ads can be put on these videos. So it's a win-win. And you can even avoid the ads that go up on the Anchor versions that go out to all of the other websites that are out there. No ads. It's great. So that's patreon.com/Gomer21XX.
And now, an important message from Tyler Green, Kitty Quinn, and Randy Martin.
Are you tired of asking yourself if that obscure show or movie you watched once was a fever dream?
Is it still in your brain to this day as a 3 a.m. channel-changing hallucination? Well, join us as we yank that said memory out of your subconscious when we do a deep dive on it on Channel KRT.
Channel KRT is a new bi-weekly podcast where we look at the best and worst of obscure media. We'll be covering such topics as
The Puzzle Place,
Clown TV,
Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, the TV show,
Reanimated,
The Weird Al Show,
We Sing,
and more. Join us every other week over at Spotify, YouTube, Anchor, and wherever podcasts can be heard. Channel KRT, cut to static.
Howdy, everybody, and welcome to this little segment I do. Few things. One, I did play the demo for the Pikmin 3 Deluxe on the Switch, and I do want to focus on this for this segment because it's actually not bad. I played the original Pikmin 3 when it was on the Wii U. I've still got it. I can even access that at any time, but I wanted to get it on the Switch so I can have it available for actually streaming without having to mess up everything else around here that I've got set up. So it's just ease and convenience, and then I can actually take it with me. But the upgrades that they've made to it, like they've made the little, you know how you can like aim and lock onto things. They've made it to where you can like just press the button and it'll go to each one instead of going away or whatever. That takes a little bit of getting used to. A lot of the controls, if you've played Pikmin 3 and gone through it and 100%ed it and all that good shit, they do take some getting used to. Let's be fair. But the controls are overall not too bad. The gameplay itself, you play up until you beat the first boss, which is, I think, the Armored Maudad, I think it's called, which I managed to do, and surprisingly, I didn't lose any Pikmin this time. That's weird for me. I did notice a lot of the nectar eggs lying around in the worlds, just that may not have been there before, which I don't know if that's just going to be a demo thing or if it's quality of life thing that's going to be in the full game once it releases. But hey, I'm happy for it. And you can take your progress and put it into the next game. Full game rather. So I can start off the full game from that point after beating the Armored Maudad. Start off from there, and I can move on from there. But yeah, again, like I said, it's the controls. They take a little bit of getting used to, but once you do, I'm sure you'll be all right. One thing I am sad about is the use of the L and R buttons to switch between Pikmin and the captains, and it's both a blessing and a curse. It's a blessing because then it makes it easier to just go back and forth to whichever one you want. But on the other hand, I did enjoy in Wii U Pikmin 3, you can hold down the right button and you would lock your character in place, and you can move the cursor around as needed. And you can move all of that around and make it easier to throw Pikmin around. I've not been in any situations where that's required so much, so maybe if you play through the demo, maybe it's not a thing for you. But, you know, and of course the charging mechanic is, I think it's about the same. I think it's still the X button. Or is it just set to a different button altogether than what it was in the Wii U version? It's been a while. But yeah, that's a quick little overview of my experience with the Pikmin 3 demo. It's free. Go ahead and check it out. And if you like it, I suggest getting the full game. If you liked it on the Wii U, you're probably going to like it on the Switch. Just if you've played it on the Wii U, get used to, you gotta rewire your controls a little bit. But yeah, it's okay. But yeah, before we get to the final segment, the second half of the show, I do want to put some content warnings here because they apply to the second half. They didn't apply to the first half, at least not as far as I know. But it's the main topics we're talking about this week include pedophilia and rape. And it gets kind of heavy. We do get a lot shouty over it. So yeah, that's definitely some content warning there. We do talk about that. And we do talk about capital punishment as well. They didn't know this going in. I was the only one who knew this, so their reactions and their thoughts are fresh and everything else. So, but yeah, bit of a content warning. I would say, based on the thing, calculate maybe, I'd say 20 to 30 minutes after this segment, after it comes back. You might want to skip ahead to that, I think. I'll try and have the time codes in the doobly-doo, but if not, 20 to 30 minutes should be a good enough factor for it. So it should be all right. But yeah, just bear that in mind if you want to try and skip that. Yeah, so with that, hope you enjoy the rest of the show. I promise we end on a higher note. I promise. So yeah, take care, everybody. Enjoy the rest of the show. Bye-bye. And we are back from our break, and it's time for the meme topics. What I mean by that is, a while ago, several months ago at this point, there was a list of, you have one of those little one discussion topics or whatever memes that was going around on the social medias, and there were 64 of them on this one. We started from the very bottom, and we've been working our way up. We're getting close to the top of the list. I think we're in the final column, if I've got it right.
Ooh, interesting.
And I don't have the list itself in front of me, but I take down 4 of them, and I put them in my little cheat sheet, and we talk about them. And the order we talk in is obviously the reverse order. So our first one for this week is capital punishment, or also known as the death penalty. Now, me personally, gun to my head, I would be more in favor of it if we could accurately apply it. Like, do somebody like Donald Trump or Mike Pence, who are absolutely irredeemable, And we knew this without a shadow of a doubt. The evidence is there, and it's accurate, and it's good. If you could 100% know for sure. But the problem with that is there's human error in a lot of this. The reason why I can be more gung-ho about Pence and Trump is that it's all there on video. You hear them say the things, you see them do the things. And they try to lie to save their own asses. The evidence is there, and it is definitive. Whereas if you have, say, some rando on the street shoots somebody and kills them, you get a jury of 12 people that have no idea. They're based on only the evidence that's presented to them. It's like a computer in, computer out kind of deal, Yeah. So that's what you're relying on with our court system. And hell, there have been times where we've had people on death row and suddenly evidence comes to light. Oh, wait, they didn't do this thing that put them on death's row. Maybe we should rethink this. So, I would be more in favor of it in extreme circumstances. Again, Trump and Pence would be an example. And if there was no doubt whatsoever that the person in question deserves it. Otherwise, I wouldn't go for it.
No.
Just no. How about you, Scully? We'll start with you on this one.
Oh, sorry about that. I have there are times when I'm kinda for it, but, I can't in good conscience support it.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think the state should have the power to take a human life. And, also, there's way too much room for error. And, people of color are more likely to get the death penalty for the same crime.
Yeah.
And, white people who... Okay, let's say there was a white serial killer and a black serial killer. Black serial killer would probably get the death penalty. And the white serial killer would probably just get life.
Yeah.
Now, if it's like you said, if the crime was bad enough, like multiple rape and murder, or something like that, and we knew beyond a shadow of a doubt that 1, they did it, and 2, they could not be rehabilitated, only then would I support it. But we don't live in that world, so
yeah,
I just can't. I just can't support it.
Yeah. No, that's fair. That's totally fair. How about you, Michelle?
Yeah, pretty much what you said. We don't have it. We got rid of it years ago. and we've had some really famous cases of complete miscarriage of justice. The film Let Him Have It is based on one of them. A very early Chris Eccleston movie, which I highly recommend. Always makes you cry. It kind of goes back to the whole, all these people that are supposedly pro-life that would have, you did this, but it's like, if you're pro-life, protest this. If you're pro-life, protest I had my dander up about something else before we started the show, and I'm just like, I'm not. Again, if irredeemable, we have a different penal system as well, so recidivism isn't a bigger issue. I don't know the exact statistics, but I think you have a higher recidivism rate.
Mm-hmm.
Word of the day. So that's that as well. I'm not a fan. Like I said, but unless you can't be rehabilitated. But I'm more, sometimes, often a little bit more facetious or malicious. I don't know the exact word, but I'm more like, again, if you know for a fact, you caught them balls deep in someone they shouldn't be balls deep in, in a violent way.
Yeah.
In a violent way. Just castrate.
Yeah.
Just chop it off. I'm like, do again, so you know for a fact that they are definitely the person that did the thing.
Yeah.
Do something permanent to them that everyone knows what that means.
Yes.
That isn't death.
Yeah.
And then see how they get on in society.
Yeah. That in and of
maybe
itself,
that's me being a bit dark. That might be me being a bit dark.
Well, I mean, there is something to be said for the condemned to suffer if the crime is bad enough. So,
Yeah.
So, make your last moments on Earth hell.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
But yeah. So on a much happier topic, drag queens.
Yay!
I like them. They're all right.
Yeah.
They're cool. I've been to this place. I'm sad it's not there anymore. It was called Fiesta down in Panama City. Sadly, it's not there anymore. The building that it was in is just demolished. I don't know if the building was sold and construction workers got to it, or if it was one of the hurricanes that came through. But it is just gone. So it is not a thing that exists in Panama City anymore. But they termed it as a gay-friendly bar, which we all know what that means. But we used to go there every now and then, and it was one of the few times a guy bought a drink for me. And you know what? Let me tell you something. When a gay guy, or possibly bi, I don't know, buys a drink for you, and you tell him, hey, thanks, I appreciate it. I'm not into that, but I appreciate the drink anyway. If you're nice about it, he was actually nice back. So and I guess that guy is an example of an actual decent guy who was like, oh hey, whatever, which I'm trying to bring a roundabout to say, men, that's how we need to be.
Yeah.
So you want to be that guy who will buy you a drink even though you're not going to get any nookie. Okay? Do it. I mean, hell, I've done it. I will do it again.
Sorry, I haven't heard nookie in a long time. It just threw me slightly.
What is it, 1990? What? But yeah.
I thought that was a strictly British expression as well. That's thrown me.
Wow, I did not know this. Okay then.
No, I again, maybe it could be my bias, but I've only ever heard it in British shows and stuff, so I didn't realise it had travelled.
Oh yeah, I mean, there's a whole Green Day album named Nookie, wasn't it?
It's Dookie.
Dookie, not Nookie.
Yeah.
No, Nookie, I think is something else.
Nookie's a Limp Bizkit song.
That's right. Okay.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
But yeah. But yeah, just in general, though, we're talking about drag queens, not my experience having a drink bought for me by a gay guy. But the drag queens who were there, they're generally really cool people. They were cool.
Yeah.
So and yeah, to anybody who wrings their hands over drag queens reading to children, go fuck off. Just go fuck off. Because to the kids, they're like, oh, this person's wearing a cool outfit. And they're reading a fun story. Yay, I love your outfit. They are bringing children. Children are being brought joy by this person. And you're going to rob them of that because you have a problem when, in your eyes, it's a man dressing as a woman? Really? Mm-hmm. You're gonna rob them of joy because of that? Fuck off.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Michelle, we'll start with you on this one. What do you think?
Yeah, do you? Most of them can wear heels better than I can.
Yeah.
Got better makeup skill than I've got. Nicer wigs, better style.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, their style's more subjective.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I've never knowingly. I've never been to a drag act. I can certainly say that. But I don't know if I've knowingly met one. Certainly not in the wild. But I probably have, and they've just been off duty or whatever. It's just like they're just people. They're just people.
Yeah.
They're just guys doing a thing, having a fabulous time, and could probably kick your asses if they needed to. So really wouldn't mess with them.
Yeah. Scully, how about you?
They're fabulous. That's all I gotta say about that. They're fabulous.
So before we get to our next two topics, they're gonna be kind of low points. And when I start putting shows together for recording and everything, I try to keep it to where we go darker kind of in the middle and try and end on a high note, which I'm thinking this episode is going to be able to, because the news stories I do have are good stories. But this is going to be the lowest part of the show. Okay. Because of the topics at hand. So yeah, hopefully future self, odds are my future self will have put something in the segment before this saying, hey, this gonna be some shit. This is what we gonna cover. So hopefully y'all have been warned. But yeah. So our next topic is pedophilia.
Oh.
Yeah.
See rant in previous episodes.
Yeah. Like, it is just no. And here is the thing. If you are listening to this and you are a pedophile, get help. Because that shit ain't good for you. It ain't gonna be good for any kids around you. Okay? And if you are a pedophile and you are getting help and you're trying to overcome it, good. Keep working at it. If you are a pedophile who would never hurt a child, well, you're probably getting the help you need. So, good. Now, if you are a pedophile and you do hurt children, and I do mean children, because I will add some nuance into this in a moment. Not the pedophile nuance, but there's a whole other thing.
Yeah.
But if you are hurting children and actively trying to hurt children, fuck you. I hope your junk gets burned off. Or burned out, because women can be pedophiles too.
Yeah.
You do not deserve to breed. Just all there is to it. Now, I mentioned some nuance. Some people would claim, there are people who claim that if, say, one of us, somebody of any of our ages, and we've got a pretty wide age gap between the three of us. Yeah. If somebody in our age groups were to try and bang, say, somebody who was 14, first of all, ew. Second of all, that is ephebophilia, not pedophilia. It's still wrong. It is still gross. It is still very much frowned upon. And you still very much deserve to have your ass kicked and your genitals removed. But it's not pedophilia. It is a whole different thing altogether. Now, and I've also seen people argue, but like, wow, you're arguing and you're apologizing for these people. It's like, no, we're just giving it nuance, because I don't know about you, but I remember being a teenager, surprisingly.
Yes.
And if I remember the idea of being referred to as a child when you are clearly not a child is insulting as fuck. So that nuance is not, it's not for the sake of the sex offender. It's for the sake of the victim. Because if you are a victim of ephebophilia, then the last thing you need is to be seen as a child. I'm guessing.
Yeah.
So let's at least give them that. They are not children. They are teenagers. They are still victims.
Yeah.
So that doesn't matter. And yes, there is also nuance of like, well, what if you're 18 and your girlfriend is 17, but only for a month after? It's like, that's a whole nother can of worms.
Yeah.
But in the broad sense that we are talking here, if you are somebody who is banging somebody who is under the age of 13 and 12 and lower, basically, you are a pedophile, you are sick, you need to get help, and again, if you are actively hurting a child, you need to lose your junk. You need to be sterilized, because you do not deserve to have children. And I know that's probably a bold statement and a big thing, but I don't care. Scully, let's start with you on this one.
You pretty much covered it, but also, fuck this whole MAP, minor attracted person bullshit. No, do not try to
fuck
sugarcoat
them.
it. Yeah, fuck them. Okay, maps are one of two things. They are illustrations of geographical areas or multi-animator projects.
Yeah.
And fuck that community for indirectly associating their hobby with pedophilia. Yeah, fuck that shit.
Yeah.
Also, if you fucking look at child sexual abuse material, I am not going to dignify that by calling it porn. That's just the same as actually fucking abusing a child.
Yeah, because most of the cases of child child sexual abuse pictures and
child
photos?
sex abuse material.
Child sex abuse material that you will find is 90% of, I would say 90 to 95% of the time, is of an actual child.
Yes.
Yep.
And some
that's
people,
the statistic I read.
yeah, and that and some people be like, well, what if it's illustrated? Well, if it's illustrated, then you know what? I don't care. I really don't, because that's still ew.
Yeah, I think it's wrong, but not nearly on the same level.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Michelle?
If you didn't catch my hint earlier about being balls deep somewhere you shouldn't be, this is what I was referring to.
Yeah, that's definitely it. Definitely.
You're doing your
Hang on a second.
Yeah.
Sorry, Gamer. Hang on.
Oh boy.
podcast.
Yes. Now fuck off. You're not funny. Go away.
I was only asking if you're doing your podcast.
No, I heard the word you said.
Yeah.
Oh.
Alright, I'm back. He thinks he's funny.
I am funny.
He said, "Are you doing your C word cast?" I'm like, "No." And feel free to edit this part out because it doesn't even dignify.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
So-
it was an outright interruption, so I'm gonna have to anyway.
So yeah, basically, I have had the long talk rant about this in a previous episode. I don't have the energy to repeat it. Feel free to refer back to it. But essentially, screw you, screw your the whole MAP thing. I'm totally with Scully on that one. Yeah, you deserve to die slowly in a hole somewhere and forgotten about.
Yeah.
Yep.
With a water supply. With a water supply, because I don't want you dying in 3 days.
There you go. But yeah, so our last one from this list is it's rape. The thing that the president has done.
Yeah.
Oh wait, that he allegedly has done. Because you gotta do that if you're talking through any news outlet. Well, fuck that. We're not a big news outlet. He fucking raped people, and we know it. He is likely a rapist pedophile. So
Probably.
yeah. Point is, rape. Fuck you. Especially if you are unrepentant and you get away with it. Especially
Spencer.
then.
Was it? No, who was that guy? The swimmer. Like, oh, we don't want to ruin his life, so we're not going to put him in jail for that long.
Oh God, there's too many examples.
I
No,
was
but
thinking
this is.
I was thinking of Brock Turner. Yeah, fuck that guy.
That's the one. Yeah, he's the one.
Yeah, because he got some action, dude. He forcibly put his hand up a woman's cooch.
Mm-hmm.
It's like that is literally digital rape. She did not ask for it. She did not consent to it. That is literally rape. He should not have gotten what was it? I think it was originally 6 months, then commuted to 3 months. He got 3 months in prison for it?
Yeah.
Fuck him!
Oh, that should have been like, how about 15 years?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or at least a decade and a half.
Yeah.
Enough to make it sting. Oh, but it ruined his life. Well, maybe he should have thought of that before he thought he had permission to violate a woman's to just violate a woman. Just all there is to it. You should have thought of that. And if you're somebody who did it and got away with it, and you don't feel bad about it, then fuck you even harder. I'm looking at you, Trump.
Yeah.
And if you did it and you got away with it and you feel horrible about it, then let that horror eat you.
Yeah.
Then, let it eat you until the day you die. You might have a redeeming quality. Might. But, yeah. Who wants to go first on this one?
So this isn't something I've really ever spoken about before, or really think about as a thing.
Mm-hmm.
But technically, I might be a survivor of an attempted assault because it was my birthday. I'd gotten very, very drunk.
Yeah.
And this is a guy that I'd known for a while through work. He was actually a friend of my partner's.
Mm-hmm.
And he did come back to our flat. My partner was at work, and he slept on the couch.
Yeah.
However, I did wake up to him on top of me, over the duvet, and saying, "Oh, we should, why don't we do something?" Now, I did actually have vague memories of having made out with him in a taxi. But I was so drunk, I had to ask my friends the next time I saw them, said, "Did I make out with this person?" And they were, "Yeah, you did." But that doesn't excuse the fact that he then took advantage of my trust and my partner's trust. So yeah, nothing beyond the kissing and him on top of the blanket happened beyond that moment. But it was a couple of days later I told my partner about it. I said this had happened. Long story short, he lost his job pretty damn quickly after that.
Yeah.
We actually got him fired from his job. So nothing fully physical happened, but he did lay full body on top of me over the blanket. So yeah, fuck that guy, and fuck anyone else who thinks they can take power from a woman.
Yeah.
Which is basically what it is.
Yeah. And I do also want to add a little bit of clarification because it doesn't get brought up enough. When we do talk of things like rape, it is usually in the scope of it happening to a woman. Rape does happen to men too.
Absolutely.
So
doesn't get taken seriously,
Yeah.
I've noticed a little something. In the news, whenever let's say, whenever a male teacher rapes a student, it's called rape.
Yeah.
When a female teacher rapes a student, it's had sexual relations.
Yeah.
No.
Just it's like that South Park episode, Miss Teacher Bangs a Boy. Yeah. Where you have the sane characters calling out the fact that the kindergarten teacher is banging a literal toddler.
Oh, fuck off.
Yeah, and
Yeah, that show gets messed up sometimes.
it's just it's all weird and everything, but just the point there is the double standard.
Yeah.
Because it's just, it doesn't matter who you are. If you do something like this to somebody without their consent, that is rape.
Yeah.
Please tell me they were actually condemning that. I know South Park can be satirical, and it was actually a condemnation and not.
It was.
I don't watch South
Yeah.
Park on the regular.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was. I think I saw the episode. I mean, yeah, it was condemning it,
Definitely.
basically
Good.
pointing out double standard.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Just doing it in a very, South Park way. Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
So
that's
this. Yeah. So that I think we got all that out of our system, right?
Yeah.
So let's go into something a little bit more better, a little bit lighter in comparison. Go to the news, which is a rare thing to say on this show, but we can do that. Our first one comes out of Athens, Greece.
Oh yeah, I didn't actually read the article, but I'm looking forward to listening to this.
Yes. So and by the way, if you get your news on CNN, articles like this, prepare for a lengthy read, which is to say I did cut some of it out for time, but we get to the meat of it. The leaders of Greece's neo-Nazi group Golden Dawn were found guilty Wednesday of forming and running a criminal organization under the cloak of a political party in a landmark decision hailed as a victory for democracy and human rights. Following a marathon trial lasting 5.5 years,
Whoa!
an Athens court deemed that crimes by Golden Dawn members, including murder, attempted murder, assault, and possession of weapons, were not the actions of individuals operating on their own initiative. Instead, they were directly planned and ordered by a party leadership that employed violence to eradicate perceived enemies. 18 former party lawmakers, including leader Nikos Mikaloliakos, a Holocaust denier who founded Golden Dawn in the 1980s as a neo-Nazi organization, were among those found guilty on Wednesday. Individual sentences are to be announced in the coming days. There was a strong police presence around the court Wednesday as left-wing parties, trade unions, and anti-fascist and human rights groups staged rallies to coincide with the verdict. Protesters and riot police then clashed with the ruling. After the ruling, police said a peaceful crowd of at least 20,000 people dispersed, but minutes after the verdict was announced, a smaller group of around 600 people attacked officers with stones and Molotov cocktails. Oh, but what people, I have to wonder, were those 600 people the actual Nazis?
Yeah, because I mean, I'm happy that they got the correct verdict, and
Yeah.
I'm curious as to why people were I can understand if people were, like protesting, and say, "What the shit? You should have convicted these people." But they did convict these people, so they were literally like, "But you convict? They were our team. You convict? No, we're not happy about that." I mean, is that what it was? Because like I said, I didn't read the article, so I just said link.
Prime Minister Kyriakos Mitsotakis, I rented this tongue apparently, tweeted that it was a truly historic day for
Not
Greece,
from
democracy, and the rule of law. After the Greek people voted the neo-Nazi party of Golden Dawn out of parliament in the last election, today the Greek justice system convicted its leadership of operating as a criminal organization, he added. Golden Dawn...
Why were they ever legitimate? Why were they in parliament? That's what?
Well, I mean, probably for the same reasons we have actual Nazis and fascists in our government over here. Because the people were duped. That's all there is to it.
I'd be
People
interested
were
in the
duped.
history on that, because I know when... And this isn't Godwin's law. This is actual. We're talking about history here. But when Hitler was brought into power, it was legitimately as a chancellor, and you didn't know how bad he was until he went really mask off.
Yeah.
But these people sound like they were probably always mask off.
Yeah.
Like the dude was a Holocaust denier.
Yeah.
Sorry, I keep.
No, you're okay. You're okay.
It's fine.
Dozens of others, party members and alleged associates, have been convicted on charges that range from murder to perjury. Most of these are linked to violent attacks between 2012 and 2013. They include the fatal stabbing of popular anti-fascist hip-hop singer Pavlos Fyssas, Fyssas, Fyssas? I don't know. And attacks on immigrants and left-wing activists. The decision concludes over 450 days in court, hundreds of testimonies, and hours of data collected from the cell phones and laptops of those arrested. Those include photos of Golden Dawn recruits at training camps posing with assault weapons and giving Nazi-type salutes.
Jesus.
So yeah, fuck you guys!
You loser! Good day!
Yes! Fuck these Golden Dawn pricks. Fuck these neo-Nazis. And fuck the Republican Party because they're just as bad. So yeah. And you brought up how Hitler came into power. See, here's the thing. I don't know if people saw warning signs when Hitler came to power in Germany back in the 40s, 30s, 40s, whenever it was.
In the 30s, yeah.
30s, okay. Here's the thing. Us in 2016, we have the knowledge of hindsight, and we have the means to be able to see a person's history. We saw this with Trump. We saw the signs, and it opened up our eyes, and we realized we don't want this fucker in power. But between things like Russia, voter suppression, and the goddamn Electoral College, the will of the American people was subverted because more people wanted Hillary.
Yeah.
Just by popular vote count, Hillary would have gotten it. But no, apparently the Electoral College is just this thing that's still around that we don't need, and people have been arguing for its abolition since at least the 60s.
Yeah.
At least. Because we don't need it.
Because land can't vote.
Exactly.
Yep.
But yeah, fuck these guys. Fuck these guys.
Woo-hoo.
Nazi goes down, fuck these guys. Also, the article itself has a picture of the leader, and oh my god. You think... Why is it that the people who say they are genetically superior to everybody else look like they're goddamn garbage fires? I mean, I know I'm coming off as petty and everything. I don't care. Because these are fucking Nazis. But it's like, really? I mean, if you want to say, oh, I am genetically superior, yeah, at least look it. Maybe look it. You would still be a horrific asshole, but you would at least look the part. At the very least. So who wants to go first on this one?
I think I have said some stuff, so Scully, do you want to share some thoughts?
Yeah, good thing they're getting charged. Now, either lock them up for life. Yeah, just lock them up for life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, make sure Nazis cannot have any sort of, public office. Because that shit has no place in politics. Or, look what's happening to America.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what the process is for any given government to vet people going to, because I know British is different to American, is different to probably Greece, is different to, China, whatever, but, sorry. It's like, question 1, did the Holocaust happen? Yes, no, depending on the answer, alright, thanks, well, don't call us.
Yeah.
That's just the top of my head example, because obviously this guy was actually a Holocaust denier, but I'm sure there are some questions that you can ask. Next time you go to a debate or somewhere, or a town hall or somewhere, just say, couple of questions, if I may. Just, not policy questions, just some things I'm curious about. And then see what they say. And then
There you go.
maybe then you get an idea.
Yeah.
Just out there. Just putting it out there. But
Just a
yeah,
little
no,
bit.
I'm... Like I said, I didn't read the story when I found the link. I just like, oh, that sounds like something we can talk about. And so, yeah.
Yes. And thank you for the link.
Yay. That's right. Yeah, basically, I'm glad the judges... I mean, 5 years, though. Jeepers.
Yeah.
What the hell?
Oh, fucking courts.
I suppose that's one of those things where would it have been a little bit quicker if it hadn't been for the COVID? Like the last year could have gone a bit quicker. Like, you know, maybe it was only supposed to be 4.
Yeah.
But yay, justice.
Yeah. That is very much a good thing.
Yeah.
But yeah. Busy recording. So our final story, I only got the 2 of them, but that's okay. Another bit of good news. So you remember the St. Louis couple that came out and threatened protesters that were simply walking by their house?
Oh my god.
I don't actually remember the story. I just saw the link. I was like, we are talking about this, right?
Yes. So the St. Louis husband and wife, who were captured on video brandishing guns at protesters over the summer, were indicted Tuesday on a firearm and evidence tampering charges, according to their lawyer. The indictment comes nearly 4 months after Mark and Patricia McCluskey, who have been embraced by conservatives and appeared at the Republican National Convention, were filmed and photographed outside their affluent West Central End home, pointing a semi-automatic rifle and a handgun at the demonstrators. Couple faces 2 counts each for exhibiting a weapon and tampering with evidence. According to the St. Louis NBC affiliate, their lawyer, Joel Schwartz, told NBC News on Tuesday that they will deal with the charges accordingly, which he called baseless. Bitch, it's on video. They were literally out there brandishing weapons at peaceful protesters going by their house.
Yep.
It is literally on video. It wasn't clear what evidence prosecutors presented to a grand jury to obtain the tampering charge, but a message was left with the St. Louis Circuit Attorney Kimberly Gardner, and it was not immediately returned by the news outlet here. Gardner charged the couple with felony unlawful use of a weapon in July. In a statement, she said it was illegal to wave weapons in a threatening manner at those participating in a nonviolent protest. Do you hear that, Ted Wheeler? For those who don't know, Ted Wheeler is the mayor of Portland, Oregon, who is also the police chief. Do you hear that, Teddy? Maybe if you would stop gassing your peaceful protesters who are just trying to draw attention to the fact that cops, execute black people at a very disproportionate rate than white people, maybe things could get done. And maybe if you could stop paying yourself to try and get your ass reelected. I hope the people of Portland throw your ass out on the street.
Yes.
So, yeah, illegal to wave weapons in a threatening manner at those participating in nonviolent protests. Fuck you, Ted Wheeler. We are fortunate in this situation, the article goes on, that it did not escalate into deadly force. This type of conduct is unacceptable in St. Louis. Should also be unacceptable in Portland and Louisville and Tallahassee and everywhere else. I just threw Tallahassee in there, but the status of the unlawful use charge was not immediately clear. The McCluskey said they were in fear of imminent harm during the June 28th protest, according to a statement released on their behalf at the event. Really? What? You're feared because there was a bunch of people with brown skin walking by? Did one of them break your hammer when you were a baby? Is that it? Did they break your little horsey when you were a child, and now you live in fear of all of them because of one person? Don't get help if that's the case. Because one person does not an entire race make. Protesters and police reform advocates were demonstrating against St. Louis Mayor Lydia Crewson, who lives in the same neighborhood as the McCluskeys, after she released names and home addresses of defund the police activists. Basically, the mayor doxed a bunch of fuckers. Police have said the couple told officers that the protesters yelled expletives and threatened them after breaking a gate that guarded their private street. Oh yeah, that's another one of those things. They think that they own a particular street. It's like, no, that's not your street, you assholes. It's like,
was it a gated community? Just play advocate for a second.
I don't think it was.
All right, fair enough.
Yeah. But even then, if they're yelling expletives and threatening you, if they're threatening you, then maybe it's because you're coming out there with guns.
Uh-huh.
And if they're yelling expletives at you because, because you're out there with guns, then maybe you fucking deserved it. Y'all ain't the victims here. I'm sorry. Yeah. You fucking white honky motherfuckers are not the victims here. You're just pissed because, oh my God, they're walking in front of our house, Harold, or whatever the fuck their name is. I don't care what their name is.
Words.
Yeah. Just, piss off. Unless one of them open fire on you, you have no ground to stand on.
Yeah.
But the fact that they are being indicted and that justice should be coming for them even more so now. Ha! Fuck you! So who wants to take this one first?
Yeah, go. What?
Okay, all you gotta say is, ha! Okay, I'll be sure to turn that one down in post, but ha!
There you go.
All right. I'll see your ha and raise your hand. Ha ha.
Yes.
Oh. Yeah.
So, in summary, couple of white dicks thought they were the big I am, threatened people by waving their weapons at them, and got into trouble for it.
Yep, they fucked around and found out.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, no, it's great. It's nice to see someone that isn't a person of color or a some other. It's nice to see a white, I assume somewhat affluent person or persons actually getting some fucking dues.
Yeah.
Yes.
We need to see more rich white people in particular, get their comeuppance. I think as punishment they should be forced to pay the majority of their income to the less fortunate of their area.
Yeah.
And I mean truly less fortunate, not those that make over 6 figures a year.
Yeah.
You know, like maybe the protesters that were
volunteering.
walking by to protest your fucking mayor. Just a thought.
Yeah.
So with that, we are going to get out of here for this week. I have got food waiting for me, so I need to get some food. Scully, if we wanted to find you on the social media, where could we find you?
You can find me on Twitter at Scolipendra and Scolipendra91 on Tumblr.
Sweet. And Michelle, where could we find you if we wanted to find you?
I have a link tree. It's linktr.ee/Phoenix11. That's PHEONIX11.
Sweet. And of course, my link tree is also in the doobly-doo, linktr.ee/Gomer21XX. That's got everything in there from my social medias to the Patreon to the Anchor support to even OnlyFans. Holy shit. Yeah, that does exist. But it's not very much in use at the moment. But that's okay.
Uh-huh.
But if you're into that and you want to throw money my way for it, by all means. And of course, we are still in the COVID times, so go get yourself a mask. Best place you can get a mask is over at Mel Paradise's shop. That link is in the doobly-doo. Just look her up on Etsy. Click the link. And, of course, our artwork is done by the lovely and talented Becky Hopkins, who has a card over at beckyhop.card.co, CARRD for that spelling. Of course, all of our links are in the doobly-doo. Check them out. Share the show around, all that good shit. So yeah, thank you guys for listening. We will catch you next time. And until then, this is Gomer the Ranting Thespian with Michelle and Scolipendra. Signing off.
Goodbye.
Later.